I wasn't trying to be broke in college, but somehow I ended up making over six figures online. And at the moment, I'm close to $1 million in net worth. But I don't know. It's like I thought after someone makes a million, their life just kind of becomes better, I guess. But for me, it's been just kind of like cool. Oh, it's a little loud. It's been cool, but like end of the day, for me to make my next mill, I still have to do more work, right? It's just like this constant loop. And then they say, oh, invest your money, this, that. But then, like, when you do that, the money just basically goes into investments that also are a lot of work. Like, real estate's a lot of work. Stocks aren't as much work, but it's a bit more passive. And yeah, it's interesting. But for y'all that don't know me, since I mean it is the first video on this channel, and I just kind of wanted to yap about things. I've made my money off of YouTube, so just by posting videos on faceless channels, I would share the channels, but they're faceless, and I kind of don't want them to connect, essentially. But that's where I've made a lot of my early wealth, basically since I was a kid. So it's not like, I made it overnight. It was a lot of work. But yeah, that's basically where I made a lot of money from. And then all the money I made from there, at least the extra ones past costs, went into real estate. So those are my two main vehicles for how I got to where I'm at right now. But it sounds impressive right now. But it started off with kind of like, oh man, I don't want to be broke and I don't want to work a job. Feel me? Like that's kind of where it derived from. And it makes sense, right? Because like who, if you had the choice to, would you not work? At least for me, like that was my whole thing. It was like, oh yeah, if I didn't have to, why the hell would I? Essentially. But yeah, it was a lot of like guessing, kind of like, oh, can I do it? Because I didn't really have any successful people around me. Everyone was kind of going down the same path of like, oh, school, I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm gonna be an engineer. I live in a big city, by the way. I live in New York City, so it's a lot of like ambitious people that go down the school route. Even some people like they might have an idea for a business but never act on it. So there's like people like that or as well. But nah, I just wasn't surrounded by people like that. I was surrounded by people that thought like, oh, if you want to make real money, you gotta like sell drugs or do something crazy. So, it wasn't the best environment. Um, the way I got to where I'm at right now is through a bunch of trial and error. It was just a bunch of failing, really, and I didn't even know if like I was on the right path. Because content creation is a little bit more creative than some of these other, I guess you can call them like opportunities. Could have been. So for instance, like if you got into starting a business, it's a lot less creative than it is to start a YouTube channel. So I went down a quite a creative venture, and then I found my thing. So my thing was gaming. So that's like the niche I'm in, but I don't really do anymore. But yeah. A lot of people do cough it up to be dumb luck, which is crazy to me. Like, I think it's crazy also to ignore luck, but if you cough it up to just luck, like these people position themselves in the way of luck. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be there at the right time, doing exactly what you was doing yesterday and the day before and the day before for you to get into the way of luck. For example, a streamer, right? Let's say a streamer got a crazy payout, which they did in like the last few years. There used to be like those whole kick deals and stuff. But let's say they did get a payout. If they wasn't streaming to basically nobody 2, 3 years before, you're basically never seeing that kick deal in your life. But the fact that they were doing that even without the results kind of let them and put them in the way of luck. You see what I'm saying? That hard work and dedication and consistency put them in that placement. And the same thing with me, right? If as a kid I didn't do YouTube for fun, for literally nothing more than just to have like an audience, I would have never got to where I'm at. So despite me being where I'm at my age, which I'm 23 by the way, um, part-time college student, it took a bit of a toll on me because I mean, I do kind of feel isolated. Not that I don't have friends, I have friends, but friends that I could talk to about the things I'm interested in a little less, essentially. So, like, when it comes to friends, it's more just kind of catch up that I run at the moment, and a lot of relationship stuff and like that sort of stuff. But they don't have goals similar to mine. Like, they might say that they have, but one thing I've noticed is there's a very large amount of people that lack action with what they claim or what they say. Like, everyone says they want to start a business, get rich, but then there's very little people that act on it, right? And that's kind of my issue with it all. Is like, you could yap to someone about starting a business, about doing all this cool stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let me hop on that too," and they never do it. So it just kind of like, you know. But a lot of it is just working alone, bro. And here's the thing. I've never wanted to do that. Like, I feel like content creation is one of those things that people market as like, "Oh, you get into it with your boys," right? But what they don't mention is that none of them will work as hard as you because this is your dream. This is not their dream. This is just something that they could do with you in the meantime while they figure out their own dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the short term, I think for the short term, it will work out for a majority of people. But in the long term, like, it's really tough for them to kind of stick through with you. And I feel like that's with any business, right? You start like, unless their goal is the same as yours, it's really tough to get people that never thought about that and just thought about other things, especially in games, bro. Like, if you meet some people online and you want them to be a part of your come up, but they don't put in their own work, it is really tough to get them up, you know? Again, it's not their goal. It's not their dream to become wealthy, to become sustainable through those means. They still have school. Like, that's still a very viable option for them, and they don't mind that. But for me, at least, like, I did not want to rely on school. That was my whole thing. Another thing as well, though, since I am a college student, I mean, I do part-time, so it's not as heavy as it is for other people. But I do feel like I'm missing out, low key, on like a bunch of club events. Like, literally the other day, there was like a Boogie concert at a neighboring college, and I couldn't go to it. And I was like, damn, bro, because I had to work. I had to sit down and do my thing that I enjoy doing. Don't get me wrong. I love working on projects because these are my projects. You know, it's not for another company. It's just for me. So I'm responsible for all of my results, which I really enjoy. But would I have chosen to go to the Boogie concert? Absolutely, bro. Those experiences are priceless, and I do wish I did go, to be honest with you. Like, that is my honest take. I wish I went, but I didn't, unfortunately. And so, yeah, just to kind of recap some of the stuff that I kind of feel like I'm going through right now, it's definitely isolating as hell. Damn. The work hours, they're a lot, bro. And I know it's a hot take, but this stuff really is harder, at least like in my opinion, than a 9 to 5, especially in the beginning. Like, startups, you're doing degrading work with no pay. Like, you really gotta clock that. This is tough. And then, you know, the missing of experiences and memories and like friends and stuff. And the worst part of it was that I'm not a flashy dude. Like, I'm not out here buying cars or whips, right? So the money that I am making, nobody knows besides maybe my family and my accountant and like the 2 people that found out. So that lifestyle you see on social media and stuff, like, that's not the lifestyle I was living. I was living the same exact lifestyle, same exact like crusty ramen packets. It's probably gonna give me high cholesterol if I keep at it. That was my lifestyle, and I like it. I don't really mind it. You know, my focus was just make some bread, put it into real estate, set myself up for life. That was my entire goal, and it still is. Like I still want to get more comfortable, you know, increase my cash flow, get some more properties going, like rentals and stuff, and just kind of live off of that. That's what I want. Yeah, people didn't even get to see me winning. Like I was dead, just alone in my room, working away, and then, you know, sometimes I feel like I should have maybe let some people in and let them know what I was up to. But like, what would I gain off of that? Like real talk. Them knowing what I do, I feel like I just wouldn't gain anything. Anywho, the things I had to sacrifice for it was a little bit of my health. So I ate very unhealthy because I thought, hey, if I can make more money off of just door dashing, right? Why wouldn't I? That was my philosophy. Horrible, by the way. I wouldn't recommend anybody to do that. It just doesn't work out long term. Like, to put it really, really simple, it really does not work out long term. But my social life also took a hit. You know, I cut off a lot of friends to focus on my own goals because I realized I was just putting too much into them. And I think that's a lot of a realization that people make, especially going into like college. And as life moves on, you kind of realize how much you actually devoted to some of these friends of yours and how little they devote back to you. It's kind of a sad little cycle, but I mean, you got to realize at some point, so might as well now, right? Yeah, I even to right now, part of me does think that I am, oops, I did not mean to do that. I'm kind of trading off my 20s to do all of this stuff. You know? The fact that I was able to get to where I'm at right now, which I mean, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure most people my age aren't anywhere close to, without like, I don't know, having like wealthy parents or something. The only reason I was able to get to this point is because I did trade off a lot of time, a lot of friends, and a bit of health. But sometimes I do wonder if that's exactly what I wanted, because I did, you know, I did like, it's weird. I mean, it wasn't just work either. Got into a relationship that got kind of tricky. That kind of made me kind of like comfortable at where I was at some points, and that got really messy. It also kind of made it so like I didn't think I needed any more life experiences. Horrible, by the way, terrible way to think. I don't recommend it for anyone. But yeah, I think the biggest feeling I did have at that time, even though I was like, am I wasting my 20s for something that I don't even want to do, was if I didn't do it now, I'll probably regret it for the rest of my life. And that stuck with me. I don't know why. I don't even know where I heard it from. Like, man, I knew if I didn't give this content stuff like a fair attempt of my 100%, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. And that's the truth. I genuinely felt like this. And I'm doing so bad. And so I think it's because of that I kind of kept pushing forward. And obviously content was a little bit more creative. So it wasn't like I was doing soulless work. It was definitely like there was passion into it. I love editing. I love a lot of aspects about it. But yeah, you know, despite the imbalance between, you know, all the other aspects of my life, I think it was well worth where I'm at right now. That's for sure. Especially seeing how some of my peers are struggling just to make ends meet. I'm kind of happy I went this direction. But what really kind of set me off was, I guess, the mindset, right? Just kind of believing that I could do it. I think at first when I was younger, I wanted the fame, and then I wanted a bit of the money as I entered kind of like high school and realized, oh wow, everything we're doing in school is for money. Yeah, so that shift kind of happened, and I realized the importance of like why it's important. Not that it should rule your life or anything, but like you should know how much you need to live, you know? And I live in a expensive city, okay? New York City is not a cheap place. So money literally dictates whether or not you're like homeless. So, you know? And so for me, what really shifted everything wasn't a course. It wasn't a book. Though I kind of wish I did have a course or a book, but it was really unpopular at that time. It was just seeing people that I thought were worse at me succeeding. And not even on YouTube. Though YouTube did play a factor into it. It was basically a bunch of people in my real life. So even something as simple as a driver's license. I thought at the age of like 15, 16, that was so daunting. I'm like, wow. They're getting their, I forgot what it's called. It's the thing right before the driver's license. That you have to take at like that you can take, I think like half a year into 16. What was it called? I'm trying to remember, but I can't. Permit? It might be a permit? Driver's permit? Yeah. That. My friend got one, and then after he turned 17, he got his license, and that's what convinced me that I could too get my license at 17. It was literally because he was, I guess you can call it the dumb friend. I think it's all relative either way. But like that's how I saw him at the time. I thought he was really stupid. He had horrible grades in school and like he just didn't care. He basically just spent his time like smoking and doing a bunch of random stuff. Which if you smoke, you know, nothing against you, but that was important to him, which is why I was like, "Huh, interesting." You know, like if he got a smoking for the day, he was satisfied with the entire day, which I thought was kind of crazy. But like the fact that he, of all people, could get his driver's license convinced me that I, of all people, could 120% get that driver's license. And that's what kind of motivated me. And I realized how big of a motivating factor that really is. And so the moment I started seeing some content creators doing better than me, making more money than me, just overall doing it better than me, it kind of shifted my mindset to, oh, damn, if they could do it, I could too. And it's as simple as that. That's really what broke my mindset behind like, oh, I'm not able to do it. And now that I've accomplished a little bit, it's like, even to this day, my mindset's growing. It's just like, I could do whatever the hell I want. And it's probably going to be successful if I just obsess over it like I did with every single project of mine. Don't sleep on obsession, y'all. That is probably like the biggest tip I can give y'all. If you get obsessed with something, it will work out. There is no way it's not going to work out. Genuinely. But yeah. And like no hate to the people I'm talking about, by the way. I'm sure that they're very capable people. It was just at the time I thought they were dumber than me, and if they could do it, I could do it too. So it's not to like belittle them. It was just proof that success wasn't really about talent that you were born with. It was just something that you work towards, and if you get over the mindset part, that's 80%, and the 20% is just the actual work. So yeah, I was literally just trying, failing, and not quitting. And I think I've gotten pretty good at all of these. And it doesn't matter if you're good or bad at these, by the way, because I like to see everything, or at least most things in life, that you can do as a muscle, which means you can build a habit out of it by just, you know, doing it, and you can just get better at it, you know? Everyone starts off sucking at everything. But if y'all genuinely want like my opinion on this stuff, because I feel like I did kind of like, I still got a long ways to go, you know, like I'm trying to hit multi-mills. But some of the struggles that at least I faced, that you might face too, going down your journey, because I'm assuming, you know, you guys are interested in business, or why the hell would you click on this video? It is like burnout, right? That's a real thing. And I actually got a cheat code for that. I got y'all with the sauce. So burnout, right, is something that you cannot avoid. So let's start off with that. Stop trying to avoid burnout, because that is a recipe for disaster, because it's something you just can't avoid. And so what do you do about it then? The way I've operated with burnout is pretty simple, and it's two things. So for me, it's something either physical or it's something social. And what I mean by that is like, these are two things you do anyways, right? It's not like this is revolutionary information, but it really is underrated. When I started content creation, I did, you know, I cut off a lot of activity. Like I wasn't very active at all. And added to that, you know, my social life basically was diminishing. And so all of a sudden, I'm in this like really, I mean, I was in a good state, but my problem was that, you know, the burnout was going to catch up to me, and it did. I think 6 months in, everything caught up to me, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And so despite this, I was tryharding at anything and everything business, but my issue was I was not tryharding, also enjoying life. So the imbalance was there. You see what I'm saying? So the way I fixed it was like, one, I realized when I socialize with people, oh my gosh, does it feel like an amazing reset. And so just talk to people. Don't matter if it's online, don't matter if it's in person. I recommend in person though, because there is a lot of side benefits to that. But if you're not able to, or like you're getting a little older, it is kind of harder to like kind of sustain relationships and, you know, schedule outings. So that's completely fine. Again, even a FaceTime call, anything can work as long as you're doing it and enjoying it. So don't think about it like, oh, let me get my hour of socializing in. No, no, no. I'm talking like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. You shouldn't even be working at that time. On a weekend, maybe. Genuinely just have fun. You know, just talk to your boys. Talk to somebody and talk about stuff that's not related to work, and you will avoid that burnout. The second thing as well, which doesn't require people, is a physical activity, right? For me, it's biking. I love biking. I go biking when it's snowing, when it's raining. I don't care. I love biking. It don't even feel like work to me. And so if it don't feel like work, if it don't feel like actual effort, that's the best position you can ever find yourself in. And that's simply just because, like, again, it doesn't feel like work, so you could do it. And that's probably something you're looking forward to. Another struggle you might go through is comparisons. It's a little better for me now because compared to people in real life, I'm basically kind of like made it. But compared to people online and compared to some of my friends and competitors, I'm a small fry, okay? Even though I've met my fair share of accomplishments, there's so much higher that I can go and I know I can accomplish. And it's simply just a matter of time for me at this point and effort for me to kind of get up to where they are. Another thing I hear a lot of people go through, at least in my friend group and stuff, is like imposter syndrome. I don't feel that too much because I feel like I'm where I am and I'm where I'm supposed to be because of the, you know, the years of effort I basically put into this since I was a kid. But yeah, that's a little bit lighter for me. It kind of varies person to person. One thing that I don't think anyone can avoid is doubting like what's next, what your next move is, what's the next play. Should you continue what you're going down right now, doubling down, or should you switch to a different thing, a different business model? Oh, yikes, my car's burning. And yeah, the last thing is just balancing life. So whether it's school, work, or whatever aspect you are in life, you will have life to balance and just kind of figuring out how to go about that. And it's tough, but very doable. I think a lot of people talk about just like 100%ing everything. You don't need to drop out of school to do this stuff, bro. I didn't. Lots of people haven't. Obviously, the people that are online, like some of them do take that extreme leap, but I don't think it's necessary. That's what I'm trying to say. If you could have all the stuff that I have just by putting in time during your free time, genuinely. It's not about the time you put in, but it is about the like it's about what you do on the time that you do have. And honestly, this is a hot take as well. I feel like when you are busy, when you have stuff to do during the day and you have less time, the things you do within that time is spent a lot better. For example, someone doing full-time business and they're not really good at their time management, they might spend 8 hours to do the same task that you spend 2 hours to do because you have 2 hours to do said task while they have 8. So if their mindset is, let me get this done within 8 hours, they will get it done within those 8 hours, but you'll get it done in 2. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think it is a lot of that. Like, I really do think that applies, and I really do think that's how that works. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm stealing your Cybertruck, buddy. Go somewhere. But yeah, I made over 6 figures online. And I still really have no idea how to balance things. Like I'm still working on it myself, but that's the fun of it. Like it's an ever-growing thing, you know? Just kind of figuring out how to manage all this stuff. There's no handbook, that's for sure. There's nobody holding my damn hand. Kind of wish there was, to be honest. But hey, you know, it's what it is. I don't even know how to file my taxes. I'm not skipping out on taxes. The accountant does it, okay? Relax. But yeah, if I could go back though, I definitely tell myself to care less about the money and more about like my self-development, because again, for like 1 or 2 years I really did not do anything besides work. I just worked. It was horrible for my mental, horrible for just life, because I didn't do anything. You know, I skipped out on trips because I thought, hey, why would I go on a trip if I can make so much money? Like horrible mindset. But yeah, you genuinely do not need to be a genius. If you just stay in the game for long enough, things will eventually start clicking. Like genuinely. No matter what, I genuinely believe that. Even if it's messy, that's kind of the fun of it. If it was so easy to do, everyone would do it. I know you hear it all the time, but that's genuinely true. If it was that easy, everyone would do it, bro. And you wanna know the crazy part? Some things are so obvious. Like there's things out there that are so simple and literally Googleable, but the issue is people don't take action. But genuinely, if you had to take one thing away from this video, because I know a lot of y'all, including myself, a lot of the times just watch these like videos about money, about like other people's accomplishments, and we don't act on it. You know, that's probably the worst thing you could do. But if I had to give you one thing to act on, is just to act. You don't even have to do the thinking. Who the hell cares if you have a full step plan? Because majority of people don't even have full step plans. If you just act, you're one step ahead of where you would have been if you just thought about it. Genuinely. So just act on something. Even if it's something small. If you're interested in, you know, starting a YouTube channel, make your first video. It's going to be dog. But that's the point, gang. That is the point. You know, you took that first step. And then you look at it and you're like, okay, this is dog. Why is it dog? And then you build on that. You feel me? Like if I never posted, I don't know. I think the first time I ever posted a video was when I was 11. Did I care about what it did? Absolutely not. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the first video I ever made on YouTube in my life was like a Pokemon tutorial. Something like that. And I re-uploaded Minecraft parodies. But you get the point, right? This is doable. All you need to do is take that first step. But hey, if y'all are interested, I don't really have it set up yet. But I'm thinking it'd be kind of cool to have kind of like a Discord server filled with a bunch of people. Kind of like start up their channels and stuff. So if you are interested in that, just go to my Instagram and DM me saying, I don't know, just whatever. And I'll probably give you the link to it. I still got to set it up though. It's going to be bare bones. But I need to set up some chats and stuff. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a bunch of people kind of like aiming towards their goals and stuff. It doesn't have to be specific to YouTube either. Just whatever. But I think that'd be kind of cool because I want to know more people that are chasing their financial goals and their financial dreams through business. I don't have enough people like that. Even at where I'm at. Believe it or not, I don't have a lot of people like that. There's only a very few handful of people that I know that are very ambitious like that. So if you're interested in that, just DM me on Instagram and I'll slide you the link. Well, yeah. Hope this was entertaining. I think I went on a little too long with the ramble here, but I hope, you know, it provided some value. And again, take some action, gang. Take some action. That's the only thing that's the only difference. I acted on my ideas. You probably have fire ideas. Act on them. Do them. Fail them. But yeah, anyways, you know, I'll let y'all get off. Peace.